This conference will now be recorded.
Hi everyone, are you able to hear me? Please confirm if you are able to see my screen and you are able to hear me. Okay, thank you. So myself, I am Krishna. Basically, I am an UA architect and a corporate trainer. So I'll be working with the corporate companies and with the technologies of all the flavors of UI. So where most familiarly will be into React, Angular, Vue, and many projects and like that. So here we'll be discussing about React and Angular. So where which is the familiar courses in the market and which is very useful for the career enhancement for everyone. And if we can see why we have to choose this React and Angular. So basically, if you are targeting your career as an UI developer, you have to enhance your skills on the basis of UI, which is like basic primary skills like HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. And we know that HTML is where we'll be using for the web. So where the web pages, everything are entirely based on the HTML. And if you want that HTML to be more attractive and more like it has to grab the attention of any user, which is like which draws the user experience will be implementing by using the CSS. CSS is nothing but a cascading style sheet. And coming to the JavaScript is the script part where it will be taking care of entire action thing, so which is very much important for this entire course. So which is like the JavaScript is the main theme of any frameworks or library. So if you are aware of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, so we can easily learn or easily we can implement whatever the project or any development like web development, mobile development, app development, anything we can do based on that. So because so why this is all because of the JavaScript. So which is like JavaScript is the major thing where we have to target the first thing, and upon the JavaScript we need to have to learn React and Angular. So coming to the discussion, like we know, like JavaScript is the scripting language where we'll be implementing everything on the basis of that, right? So what is a framework and what is a library? The framework is like, for example, if you can take Angular is the framework, and if you can take this React.js is the library, and if you can see jQuery is the library, and lot many other frameworks and lot many other libraries are available in the market only based on this JavaScript. So the JavaScript is a very powerful thing. First, you have to understand what are all the basic things in the JavaScript, and then we will be shifting to the our focus to React and Angular. And coming to this library is a collection of predefined functionalities or the definitions which we will be briefing inside the JavaScript, and based on that collection, it will be into a library. And based on that library, so everything will be like to control from the interact like user interactiveness and user experience. So to get the control from the HTML or from the front end part, the frameworks was evolved. But on the basis of library, the frameworks have been evolved. So which is like the framework and the library are in inversion of the control, like which is like we can say when you call a method from a library, so you are in control, but in the framework the control is inverted, which is like the framework will take care of entire implementation. So this is all about that. Like if you can see, this course is about the React.js. First we will talk about the React.js and then we will shift our focus to Angular. So which is like our React.js or AngularJS coding program, which completely includes the theory, and the theory is only the 30% I'll be concentrating on, and majorly I'll be more focusing on the 70% practical implementation, which you need to have to follow along with me, and you have to solve few of the assignments on a daily basis. So, which is very much important nowadays. So, which is like if you know the theory, if you are not implementing any practical thing, and if you are not completing any assignments, it is of no use. So that is my main target is to like you have to understand the theory and solve the assignments and practice. Practice in the demo project is only the way how you can learn this course and how you can make it as a skill enhancement. And so if you go to the more details, like JavaScript is the major driver of the modern web applications. So only the programming language nowadays, JavaScript is not the client-side scripting language. It is the programming language which runs on the web browser. So why web browser is up? Like we'll be talking about the JavaScript and web pages because the browser understandable scripting language is JavaScript. If you can take any programming language or any code you can implement, if you want to get that code access in the web browser, means you have to convert that code into JavaScript. So that is the only way we can develop or we can use our script to access in the web pages. So that is the reason. So all those evolvements of React.js or Vue.js, AngularJS, all the flavors will be based on this particular JavaScript. So JavaScript is that much crucial and important nowadays. So you can develop web applications, mobile applications, or whatever you want. You can do it. You can also build some games on that. But using the JavaScript can be challenging because it quickly becomes overwhelming to create a nice web app with plain JavaScript will be called as a vanilla JavaScript and also jQuery. jQuery is a collection of the JavaScript where it will be called as a jQuery library. And React is all about components. So where we can use React for making the components, making the user more interactive and more user experience and more typical into like we can also do some server side rendering and you can also get the data from and backend API. So you can so we'll be having some lot of environment in and around and we can build a lot of dynamical applications where we can use and reuse it oftenly and we can minimize the code structure and we can build beautiful applications based on this. So which is like we can also see React.js is a single page application architecture which will be having lot many other browser things like if you can see the browser URL, it will be like single URL which will be loading different pages. So which is like reducing that loading whatever the pages and all and it will be like the content is quickly accessing in the browser which means which means it is achieving a better performance of your web application. So which means React.js is keenly into best performance oriented web applications. So that is very much important. Comparatively, Angular is also a best performer for this particular performance, but more into like if you compare the React with Angular based on the performance, React is more faster than the Angular. It's not like lot many, like it is like milliseconds. It is like a milliseconds performance. Why and how, I'll show you in detail in practical. But this session I'll be taking from my tablet, so which is like I can't able to demonstrate on what are all the applications and all. So the next session will be like I'll be taking a drive through what are all the needed things, which will be discussing like what are all the tools needed and how we'll be using and what are all the IDEs needed. All those things we can target and we can see in the next session. But at this point of time, so you just try to understand what is what. That's it. So what is React and what is Angular and how we have to go through it. So that is the primary intention of this particular session. And if you can see this, so which is like my about myself, and in this course, I'm targeting to like you are just getting started from the front end or JavaScript development. So which is like we'll be starting with the JavaScript basics, and if you don't have any other prior experience of the JavaScript, not a problem. So I'll be starting from the scratch, which is from HTML, the basic idea of the CSS, and JavaScript. And we'll be experiencing the Angular or Vue. So Vue we are not targeting over here. So we will be like diving to the React. And also you know the React basics, but want to refresh them, add or which will be like diving into the deeper to understand and implement the particular code structures and different folder accessing methodologies and also different enhancements in the project and live project implementations, everything. And also like we'll be working on the React based on simple requirement, and which is like the primary prerequisites for this React to learn or Angular to learn is HTML, CSS, JavaScript. The language is very much and also while learning the JavaScript, the latest standard of the JavaScript, which is like the JavaScript is standardized into different versions in ECMAScript language, which is like ECMAScript is the global standard for the JavaScript, just like a version number. Okay, so which is like ES6 is the latest version, and we will be learning the ES6 because ES6 is the one which is a key to all these latest frameworks, which is like React has been developed on the basis of ES6 and Angular, everything on from the basis of ES6 only. So what is this inside this course? Then why, what, and how? These three questions for every implementation or every concept what you are learning in the theoretical, you need to have to think about these three things: what, why, and how. So if you start doing like that, and it will be a practice. So what is that particular? For example, if you are learning about the React component, what is React component? Why React component? And how we have to implement that React component? So this is the scenario you have to apply for each and every concept. And if you start thinking like that, you can understand all those what it will be inside of each concept and how we will be learning and what we will be learning and all. So this course, which will be starting with that inception in mind. So the three main principles you need to have to in mind. It will be like this: what, why, and how. So not only this concept, like only my trainings or not. So which is like this concept you just apply in any of your learning. So that will be very much important. So this is very simple, but implementation is very much important. So which is like if you are thinking about any concept in that perspective, which is like giving you more deeper access to any concept, and you'll be make sure. So I am sure that you can, if you think on that, so you will be cracking any courses or any development implementation. Okay. And then we'll be concentrating on the React basics, and then how we'll be making use of the React other components. And the main thing here is like React with Redux. So Redux, which is like all the time people are managing their applications based on the Redux. So Redux is one more important complicated concept in React. So we need to have to use that. And how we'll be using with other JSS like Node.js will be using. Next.js will be using, Express.js will be using. So all those things. So how we'll be using other tools to deploy this React.js application. So we'll be also dealing with that. So which is like, and so after learning, you will be sure, you have to be sure like you can do the well powerful, fast, user-friendly, and React web applications because we are not targeting the mobile applications over here, so which we are primarily targeting the web applications. So we can also use a good user experiences by leveraging the power of JavaScript, and we can also, so if you are a freelancer or if you are targeting to the career enhancement, so definitely React will add a good advantage to your profile. So this is for sure. And the course prerequisites, which I have already discussed it. So it's just like this. And coming to the Angular. So Angular is also a JavaScript framework, which we call it as a framework. This framework already includes a library called jQuery, which is like a JQ Lite, which is a lighter version of the jQuery is also included in the Angular JS. So which is like Angular is coming up with the two flavors, which is like one TypeScript flavor and JavaScript flavor. And where the TypeScript flavor, which we will be calling it as the Angular TypeScript. We don't call it as the Angular TypeScript. We'll be calling it as the Angular, which is like similarly in the market, which will be with Angular 2. So from the Angular 2 onwards, it was like that. So now we are targeting Angular 10. So which is like a lot of versions have been evolved on the basis of enhancing the better things and like rewinding all those components and what are the basic concepts around it, and it will be like that. So which is like Angular, we'll also targeting our course to first will be starting with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, ES6, and then React.js, and then we'll come to the Angular. So Angular JS and then Angular. So which we will be morely understanding what are all the concepts and how we will be developing the web applications using the React JS, and also how we will be managing the same thing with the Angular. So which is like the setup of the deployment and how it will be, and what kind of applications we can develop with React.js and what kind of applications we develop with Angular. We'll see in two different scenarios, and we'll also compare the core structure, how we can implement and how we can execute and how we can deploy the application, and we can also see the performance of the Angular components and also React components. So which is like this. So in Angular, we specifically use the TypeScript. So which is like a TypeScript is the main language. Officially, Angular will be launched, which is like um, which for enhancing the more security in your coding part. So which is like TypeScript TypeScript is more secure than the JavaScript, which is like TypeScript is also a subset of the JavaScript. But here, the important thing is like you will be developing the code in TypeScript in Angular, but while deployment, the entire code will be converted. Converted is not a word, so which is like bundled. You can say bundled or bootstrapped into JavaScript language, which is like the entire TypeScript will be bundled into a bundle file. And in these scenarios, we'll be calling it as a chunk file. Okay. So what is a chunk file? What is this bootstrapped file? What is a bundle file? Everything. Some people may not know about these things, so we will be discussing that in detail, how we will be making use of it. So this primarily for coming to the Angular, we will also targeting to TypeScript. So what is TypeScript and how we have to implement this TypeScript? What is the difference between JavaScript and TypeScript? And we'll see all the coding standards of the TypeScript in this Angular. And Angular is not a big deal, so which we can also learn the capabilities and how the complex applications and customizations we will be doing in the Angular. So we'll also see how it will be and all. And we'll also see specifically in Angular what is that particular architecture it will be using and how to use the TypeScript to Angular application. and we'll also see how it will be working and all. So which is like basically routing, handling, navigation, and there are a lot many new concepts in the Angular. Like rather than the React doesn't have much concepts, but the Angular is having a lot of concepts to remember, like pipe, dependency injection, modules, and decorators, services. So a lot many other things are there. So which is like Angular is fully packed with the concepts to understand and implementation rather than remembering few concepts in the React.js. So that is the reason I am targeting from simplest level to the targeting level. So which is like complex level. So which is like first you can learn the React.js, which is simpler, and we'll be increasing the complexity in learning the AngularJS so that you can understand better and how we'll be using and how we have to make use of the optimization in Angular applications. All those things we can see in the Angular. And why we'll be using this Angular and what are the targeting applications and how we can build the scalable web applications. That is also primary thing we'll be discussing over here. And this is all about the course and how it will be benefiting to you based on our learning curve and all. So, which is entirely the basic ground of this particular course. So, which is like all the people like whatever you we are discussing over here is simply concepts and how we have to implement that each concept, how we will be implementing and why we are implementing that particular concept. So these three scenarios will be applying for entire concept, and each concept will be explained not only like a um, number one, number two kind of thing. So my training program will not have any kind of presentations. So all the thing I'll be giving you simple introduction to all the concepts, and I'll make you sure like how it will be useful and how we can implement that and why we have to do that. So this is all the time I'll be covering like which is into practical implementation and my uh like my I need your support because like if you are implementing whatever the assignments or assessments what we are talking about inside our class, so daily you need to have to complete that. So if you are targeting that to complete and if you are making that sure and if you are coming with more doubts, so and you are understanding, so if you are coming with more doubts means you are coming with more knowledge, so which is like you are gaining more knowledge. So only the thing like if you are asking the things, you can only learn the things in a better way. And if you are not asking, just simply logging into the session and days passing, you are not getting anything, only except the recording. So recording doesn't matter. So what matters is like what you are getting from that recording. So which is like my intention to give you that perspective to understand about the implementation in a practical way. So that is my intention over here. So this all course, whatever the course it will be taking, as we are targeting to 30 to 45 sessions. So which is like it is completely based on the practical implementation. And also, if you are targeting your career enhancement with some resume framing and also the project implementation, like if you want any live project support, we do everything. So which is like from the resume framing, and we can also guide you in a good resume structure, and we can also conduct good mock interviews, and we'll also support you for your career. This is not about only the training, this is about all your career enhancement and how you can build your career so that we can discuss. Because based upon my experiences, I am 16 plus years of experience in IT industry, so I can guide you with more examples and how we can face a few more challenges and all. About my experiences, I'll share and I'll guide you on this regard. Not only in the project implementation, we'll talk about more things in regarding to your career as well. So this is all about the course outline, so how we can go ahead and how what it will be and all, and we can also see a few things in the coming sessions. So let me know from your end, like if you are, uh, if I can target you. I think some people have pinged me the chat on the. Okay. If you have any questions, so let me know from your end, like about yourself. If you can type in the chat window, or else if you can unmute your mics and you can also talk. So it's an open session so that you can clarify your doubts before starting the session. So that will be very much important.
Hi
Anyone
Krishna, this
take
is Sandeep.
yeah.
Actually, I just joined little later. Can you just tell me the difference between Angular and React.js?
React.js is the library, so which is developed and like launched by Facebook, where the Facebook has implemented some components in their Facebook community and in the program. So that's how it was launched. So it was completely based on the JavaScript. And Angular is the framework. So which is like the framework is inversion control of the library, where it will be like taking care, and the framework means it is controlled by everything will be controlled by the framework, where library will be entirely the code is in charge for your library. So that is the difference. So which is like you can implement same kind of scalable and performance oriented applications using the React and Angular as well.
So, please let me know whether my understanding is correct. Generally, for developing any web application, the front end and back end will be needed, right? So here, the Angular would be a front end, and React.js will be a back end.
No, no, no. Both are uh, front end technologies only. So we don't do anything in the back end using these things. So these two framework and library, React and Angular, will be useful to develop the architecture or building the user experience in the front end, and where we will be having a lot of supportive scripting languages or other terminologies like Node.js, Express.js, and other like database engines will be connecting using some other interfaces, and we'll be getting the data from the back end to the front end. So that is what. So you are building entire the structure or the whatever the uh, data related or database related things in the back end, so which we are not getting the data using this front end technologies. Front end technologies are useful to build whatever you want to do in the front end only, so which is in the website. Okay, React and also Angular. Both the things are in the front end only, front end technology, we can say, not back end. Further back end, we'll be using Express, Node, or if you are having any other uh, server side programming like .NET or Java, you are building any API related. API means you are getting the data using the API. So that data we'll be getting from that APIs, and we will be doing that manipulations and how we will be displaying in the front end. And you can filter the data, you can sort the data, whatever you want to do, that you can do in the front end itself. That is the main intention of React and Angular.
Okay, then
Hi,
you
Rajesh
mean
here.
after completing this course, we can project ourselves as a front end developer, not the full stack developer. Am I right?
Yeah, for making the full stack developer, you have to target. So I'll be showing you how to connect with the database as well, which is like databases nowadays will be using a cloud basis, which is Google Firebase or AWS. So how we'll be connecting the data from there to here? It is very easy. So you can build a full length application just like a full stack developer using the cloud databases and front end technologies like React or Angular.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Rajesh. Yeah, sorry. Can you tell me about your experience So
I'm totally 16 plus years of experience, Rajesh. Currently, I'm working as a UI architect.
okay.
Yeah.
Also, like what, like which you will use as a backend technology while you are explaining this course? Like you which technology you will prefer, either Java or what you will use?
So here we are talking about entire front end only, which is like we'll be
No, no, no.
using
To
this.
explain front end, you need to, at least you need to use backend. Na? Sometimes like to fetch the data or to save the data.
Yeah,
Here
that is what.
web, like REST web services you need to use. So which one you? I'm a Java developer and I'm a Java and Python developer. I have 14 years experience. Now I'm learning this one. Yes,
Yeah, Rajesh.
yeah. Somebody, Harita, can you mute your? Harita, can you mute your?
Let me
Harita, can you mute your? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, yeah, Rajesh.
So
So which
for
you
my
are
next
developing which
project, I
backend
want to use.
application?
Yeah, I'm into full stack. Like not only, but I haven't used React or Angular till now. Just I want to start it. So that's why I'm learning, and I'm a Java with Java Spring technology, Spring Boot. I want to use React. So just I want to know, will you at least even explain Java or any other technology you are going to use?
So if you are targeting to a full stack developer, like if you are already into Java and Python, so which is like you
Hmm.
are already dealing with the databases to connectivity. So
Yeah,
the
I
you
have
are Java.
uh, I have used
Yeah.
Spring Boot, Oracle, MySQL, Python with Django, and mostly all the areas I have covered. JavaScript, jQuery, everything.
Hmm.
So just I want to know like which backend technology you are going to use, and
Here
will
we are
uh,
in in this course. So we are
uh,
not using any backend technology.
come again. I couldn't hear you.
So in this course, we are not targeting any backend technology. We are
No, no,
taking
no.
care of.
I'm not asking you to target any backend technology. Just for while explaining, you need to fetch some data and to show us. So in that case, you have to use at least, without using backend means how you will show the examples to us.
That is what already we have APIs with us, and also we do
Ah,
create a server using the Node.js. We do create and we do connect the database or any other cloud-based databases like AWS or
so
Firebase and all. We'll show you the
existing.
connectivity.
Okay.
We
So
will
you will
connect
use
with the
existing RESTful services, if I'm not wrong. Am I correct? Existing,
no,
you
no.
won't touch that. Ah,
No, Rajesh, we are also implementing the APIs using that. So Firebase is the one where we can connect the database. So which I can show
okay.
you how to create
Hmm.
a database in the cloud and how we can get the database from that. Because nowadays everything we are using in the cloud only. So not we are not targeting to any physical databases or any other thing. So rarely we are using some confidential or strictly using some applications. Those are targeting to the databases and the Spring framework and all. So nowadays, as we are targeting the front end, so we will deal with everything on the basis of this structure, which is like Node.js, Express.js, and we'll be taking care of the data using the Firebase database or AWS database kind of thing.
Okay. Okay.
And yes, if you are a backend developer, you can develop whatever in the backend. And with that APIs, you can get the data from there and you can do whatever you want in the front end. So this is very,
Like,
very easy.
will you show any examples to connect to
Yes,
RESTful?
yes. I'll give you, yeah, I'll give you everything. Like I'll give you how to consume the RESTful services into our code and how to manipulate those things and what is the advantage of using the React and will show you in detail.
Okay, okay. Okay, so how many days this course?
We are targeting to 30 to 40 minutes.
So you will cover both Angular and React.
Yes.
Okay, that's all from
So
me.
what's the fee you charge?
That you have to talk to the organizer only about the fee details.
Oh, okay, okay.
Hi, Mr. Krishna. Uh, so will we be provided with the demos, like how it works, the PPTs or something like, so that we can, for later on purpose, if we want to refresh?
Yeah, actually, every day we'll be having the recorded session. That recorded session will be shared to you, and we'll be having some documents for the reference, whatever we are talking about. That documents also shared to you.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
And one more thing, whenever we are talking about a concept, will it be like a case study, one case study in which all the concepts will be explained, or like a separate demos? Like, how will the demos be correlated?
Uh, we are not targeting any demos over here, so we'll be discussing the scenarios day to day on particular concept. So if this
So
concept,
that
for
scenarios
example,
will be discontiguous, like for explaining every concept, the scenario will be like apt for that. What I'm trying to ask is, in certain trainings we have seen, like they'll take one like banking sector or something, and throughout the training it will be like around that particular, the scenarios will be correlated to a particular domain.
yeah.
So is it
So here,
something like that, or?
no, actually, we'll be discussing architecture first, and then upon those things, we'll be discussing which one is more important for specific domains. Like, for example, if you are targeting to the web domain or any other software application or product development, so we'll be discussing these things in that particular authentication or security, how it will be. And coming to the banking
Okay.
sectors, how we have to implement it. So I'll give you the more scenarios in that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, somebody asked about the job assistance. So job assistance also provided from our end, like if you can talk to our organizer, so they will assist you. Any other questions, any other clarifications before we go with this?
Good
Hello.
morning. I just want to know, Krishna, so what is the roles we can target after the end of the course? Let's say that I'm having overall like 4 years of experience, and like like how many years of experience I can project after the sessions are cleared and all.
So if you are a backend developer,
Actually, I'm an RPA developer, so I work with UiPath. So I just want to make sure that okay, I have some sort of skill set that was related to the coding and all these things, because like in UiPath or some automations we interact with the front end. So I just want to make sure that okay, I have some knowledge on those things. Apart from that, okay, let's say that okay, I have learned some skill set here like HTML, CSS, Angular, React, and all these things, right? At the end of the
yeah.
sessions, let's say that okay, it may be after like 45 days. If I just want to project myself into this skill set, like how many years I can keep in my profile to justify the profile?
So this will not give you the more experience, like only the thing what you are learning in this uh, course is like your skill enhancement, not like the experience. Experience you have to get it. So which is like upon your practice and your implementation, you can rate yourself. But my uh, intention is to like you have to daily practice this and you have to match your whatever the experience level so that it will gain your career enhancement. So that is what my intention. So you have to draw your experience because I can give you the knowledge, but I don't give you the experience. Right?
Exactly. It really depends upon the like hours we spent on the things what you have learned us. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and also just like anything that was related to APIs will be learned here, like how to create an API or else like how to interact with particular APIs to get the JSONs or else and like XMLs and all these things will be part of this or else like it's a purely different one.
No, no, no. This is also part of that. So which is like we'll also cover how to generate an API and how we'll be getting the data using the JSON response. So we will not be targeting the XML over here. So we'll be targeting JSON. So how to get the JSONs and how to get the JSON binded to our component UI components and all. So
Okay, that's great. That's great to hear. Thank you.
Hi, it's Raju.
yeah,
Just want to
yeah,
confirm, like, I'm a .NET backend developer. Just want to, like, can I consume the RESTful APIs which is developed in .NET framework to the Angular?
yeah. You can consume.
Okay. So, APIs whichever developed in whichever developed on me, can I use that in Angular sessions?
Yes, exactly. So which is like you are already developing some API code and you are having the APIs deployed, right? So that
Yes.
APIs, using that APIs, whatever the methods you will be using, like get or a post or a put, so all those things you can consume in the front end. But only the thing you need to have to take care is the cross origin issue, which is like a CORS policy. You need to have to because it has to deploy in the both has to deploy in the same server, or you need to have to pass the authentication. So that is required. Rather than that, you can consume your data from your backend server to the front end.
Okay. Uh,
Okay.
and can I get the real-time project for the thing?
Yeah, we will see the real time project scenario with this um, in this session also. So which is like how the folder structure is and how we have to deploy those
So,
things and also.
so for that real-time project, which is the backend technology used?
Yes. So we'll be using the cloud-based technologies over here.
Okay.
Yeah. And similarly, I will explain how it will be with your backend technologies also. As the people are from the different backgrounds, which is like Java, .NET, and all. So I'll also explain in that scenario.
Oh,
Any other
Hi
questions?
Krishna, my name is Satish here.
Hi, Satish.
Hi man. It's just like mostly everyone is on the same boat. Like currently we are using Angular with the Spring Boot, like
Mhm.
Spring REST services published using Spring Boot in the Java with Angular as a front end. Daily we used
Mhm.
to interact with Angular developers and we are very closely working with the API developers and the Angular developers. Yeah, just
Mhm.
like and other people also looks like a same sort of skill set we are using here. Yeah, it's good
Okay.
to know. Like, and you said like you will show like a consume the APIs. It's just like you will create some mock APIs using the Angular, or you will get some APIs published and those you are going to consume, or we can create a mock APIs as well. I think right in Angular.
Yeah, generally we'll be having some mock APIs, which is already developed on the basis of Java or any .NET, so which will be using the mock API servers. So first
Yep.
we will see how the APIs will be consumed. Okay.
Yeah,
Next
sure.
level is we will create a server and we will create a mock data in the backend in that server and how to connect with that mock data to our front end
Yeah, sure.
using
That's
it.
correct. Yeah.
And then we'll be real time how we'll be connecting with the cloud bases like cloud databases like Firebase, AWS and all. How to
Yeah.
connect with that cloud database to our front end. So that is also easy. So we'll see in a three scenarios over here.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Krishna.
Any other questions? Any other clarifications? Okay, a few people are from the other background, so which is mechanical or any other. So they have to know each and every basic principle of the basic concepts like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So I'll guide them. So if you are new to the concept, like if you are new to the HTML and everything, so which is like let me know. So I'll guide you in those areas so that the basic will be covered for them uh, separately, so that it will be they have to gear up and they have to sync up with other people. I can see that a lot of people are from experienced background and few people are freshers, so or from different sectors. So they need to have to gear up and sync up with all the other people. So we'll plan for that basic cover for them from the scratch. Okay. So let the organizer know about your basic background if you are a fresher or you are from different backgrounds. So please let organizers know about it. Any other questions? Okay. Now to the chat. So I don't see any questions over the chat or here. So we'll wind up the session over here and we'll start with the next session according to the organizer's schedule, and we'll see you there. Okay. Thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.